What's up everybody, back on the Shadowlands beta with some more raid testing for you. So today we're taking a look at Artificer Xy'mox in the new raid castle Nathria. Before we start, I just want to point out that this is very early beta, so a lot of things will change. So this is by no means a guide on how to, and due to it being beta, there's a lot of bugs, a lot of lag, and weird stuff going on. With that said, let's hop into it. It's a 3-phase fight where Xy'mox will activate different relics depending on his HP. Starts with one active at 70%, that one changes to a new one, and again at 40%. Throughout the fight, 2 players will be targeted by Dimensional Tear. Lasts for 8 seconds, and upon expiration it detonates, dealing damage to anyone within 6 yards of that player. And these 2 players leave a wormhole at their location, which are linked, if you will. As long as these wormholes are up, players can walk into them and get ported to the other wormhole. This did not have any internal cooldown while testing, so walk over a wormhole, pop out the other one. Who needs warlocks now? The boss used Dimensional Tear quite often, and there can never be more than 2 wormholes up, so a connected set that is. And a lot of mechanics in this fight seem to be solved with the use of these wormholes, so they play a major part of dealing with the encounter. Like for example the first relic mechanic, Crystal of Phantasms, which spawns fleeting spirits that fixates random targets. If they reach their target they get mind controlled, which can be broken by smacking them a bit. On top of this, during the Crystal relic phase, the crystal will also spam Soul Singe, energy arcs from the crystal, periodically inflicting a bit of shadow damage to several players. The spirits that spawns last for 12 seconds and they moved really fast. However, you could pretty much just hop between wormholes and the poor spirits didn't really know what was going on. On top of this, and I can't say if this is intended to target tank, why this is a bit odd is due to the tank mechanic Glyph of Destruction. Boss marks the active tank for 4 seconds, deals a ton of arcane damage every second, and upon expiration it detonates, dealing near lethal damage to everyone in the raid. And this is proximity based, so mark tank needs to be far away as possible from the raid when this time's out, so this doesn't really line up super well when you're kiting a spirit. On top of this, the tank that detonates take 50% increased arcane damage for 45 seconds, so it's pretty much a swap at 1 deal. Following this, throughout the fight, Xy'mox will open rifts that emits blasts of energy in a line, dealing a ton of damage to players hit by this. This seemed to spawn on or near players all over the room. On top of this, boss will also create a hyper light spark that jumps between all players, dealing a ton of arcane damage. There's also stasis traps. Xy'mox deploys a set of stasis traps at the location of several players. After 2 seconds, these traps are. Walk over one and you get stunned and take a ton of damage every 2 seconds until the trap is destroyed. So if you're trapped, somebody needs to smack you. These traps were immutable, so you could pop bubble, AMS, and stuff like that to run over him and clear him. You could also drop a wormhole on top of him to clear him, although I'm not sure that's intended because you can kinda bait the traps, then drop one of those on top of most of them. But we'll see how it plays out. When the boss reaches 70%, you will no longer need to deal with Crystal of Phantasm, so these spirits and the Soul Singe, and instead you need to deal with Root of Extinction. The boss plants 4 seeds of Extinction. After 20 sec, these seeds explode, dealing like 60k to players within 50 yards. These seeds can be interacted with and moved. The relic or root will also lash out, inflicting a high amount of nature damage every 1.5 sec for 21 seconds. So it's kinda like the barrels that Knight Captain in Toldagor has, but on steroids. Following this, at 40%, the boss will swap relic again to the Edge of Annihilation. When the boss activates this, it will draw players with increasing intensity until it erupts, dealing 150k shadow damage to all players within 25 yards. It also deals shadow damage every 3 sec for the remainder of the encounter from its aura of dread. So you can kinda see where all the wormholes come into play when you need to move the seeds so you don't blow up the raid with them or get away from the Edge of Annihilation as you're kiting the ghosts, and even if it ends up that you use it to clear all the stasis traps. Portals are fun, man. Either way, this looks like a really fun encounter to me, especially the wormhole part and using it to deal with the aforementioned mechanics. It would have been one thing if the wormholes had set location, but the fact that you as a player and raid team can decide where you want them and change this depending on what part of the encounter you're at makes this mechanic so much more fun to play around with. And I hope it's gonna end up being a ton of different ways you can utilize these wormholes. Especially on Mythic, where according to the dungeon journal, the boss never swaps relic, it just adds. So that seems like a clusterfuck from hell, depending on the spell queue at least. If you have to kite spirits while moving seeds, or seeds overlapping with Edge of Annihilation, that'll be fun. And well, that's pretty much it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Make sure to check out my Patreon and join my Stankie Discord. And my good interweb is finally here, so make sure to check me out on Twitch. We'll stream some beta testing every now and then, and main raids on retail, which are on Mondays during farm. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.